Hey everybody, how you doing? Gisele Grenier here. So for this project, I'm going to be creating a very simple piece of art, very minimalistic, to kind of signify something that's going on in my life right now. It's going to be so simple yet impactful with the statement. So I've got this piece of old MDF that was basically used for some other type of artwork. I'm going to repurpose that. And I've got some mathematical text. This was gifted to me by Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. Math is not my strong suit, but I'm going to be using that. And then these little doodads were gifted to me by Allison, and this is the one that really inspired me. This one here with the glitter, but I'm going to replicate that because the finish will be different on this one. So I'm just going to work it on the back side. And thank you, Allison, for these. My statement that I'm going to be putting on the piece is I was created to create. And I did that just using a black stamp pad and using these little stamps that I picked up at Michael's in their, they have those clearance binny things. I think I paid $1.50 for each of these. I did a few, and I did these on Benfang Bristol, because it was stiff, and it's not matte. It's got a bit of a shiny coat on it. And then what I did with this is I stamped it and then tore it, and then I took scrap paper from the rest, and then I sized it, and I tore, and then I tore the sides so I could fit it right underneath. And then what I can do is adjust if necessary. So I wanted it layered by 2. I may layer it by 3. It just makes it a little bit bigger. So I may layer it by adding another one underneath. I don't know yet. So that's that. Paints. I'm going to be using DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics, Titanium White, Phthalo Green Blue, Phthalo Blue, Quinacridone Magenta, Quinacridone Burnt Orange, DecoArt Media, Matte Medium Gesso, and then some DecoArt Glamour Dust in Black Ice. And that will be to replicate that. Now, I was reading the instructions on this, because I've never used this particular one before, and it says to shake well, apply with a brush, repeat coats until desired shimmer is achieved, allow it to dry, blah blah blah. And then it says for a more intense color, apply over a similar paint color, which is why I'm creating a chromatic black. I'm not using carbon black because it's too flat. I've mixed up a beautiful black that leans towards blue, because I don't know how transparent this is. So let's not quite. Do I want? Oh, I like the text on this one. So I'm just going to tear that. And I'm probably going to frame this. I don't know yet. And the next project I'm creating after this one, I don't know what order I'm going to be putting it out there though, will be an announcement that I'm making. Yeah, I know. Curiosity killed the cat, right? So just did a simple tear. Nothing fancy, no fancy tools. And I'm just going to collage that on there, leaving all the edges really rough. Now, if you wanted to really rough that up, you can take scissors and you can just file down the edge like this. There is a little, I have it here somewhere, a little distressing tool, but you don't have to have a distressing tool. You can just use scissors. You can even use sandpaper. Now, doing this does create dust, so if you have allergies, wear a mask and don't blow the stuff off your table. Everybody's got their own way of doing distressing. Cut into the paper, tear it, do whatever you want. And you don't even have to distress it if you don't want. One thing I could try. Oh, yeah, I could see what's going to happen here. This is quite nice. Cut into it. This is where I can see it's going to rip. So it made it nice and rough. All right, so let's get this prepared first. I'm going to gesso the top to get this away from being so more more bland, more of the creamy. I'm going to make it more white and set some of this text back. This is already gessoed, so I'm not going to need to gesso that again. Although it would build strength on the back. No, let me try it with this first. And if that's too thick, then I'll come in with the titanium white. So I'm going to go to my dry number 8 Bristle Bright. That's actually not too bad. Sometimes you got to be careful when using the gesso for this because it is so thick. But with this here, I like the idea that it's going to stiffen up the paper as well. And I'm using it dry to speed up the drying time. If your brush is too wet, you're going to dampen the paper, and then the paper itself has to dry. Once you've got the gesso on there, it creates that barrier. And then the paint will dry quickly, each additional layer. And then it's up to you. And of course, if you don't have book text, just take newspaper. You can do the same thing. Magazine, computer. Use your computer to print something out. This is just a background. This is not part of the artwork. Oh, sorry, it's not a focal point. So I want to make sure that there's nothing too busy in here. Like that. Okay, put that in water. Cover that up. So I didn't need the white. So we'll let that dry. Over where? Oh, let's put it over there. Okay, so let's get these painted. And got my brush. So what I did is quinacridone magenta, phthalo blue, phthalo green, and some quinacridone burnt orange, and which mix the whole thing together because it's going to end up going in the garbage if I don't use it. So with that, so it's roughly equal parts. If you took the phthalo blue and the quinacridone magenta and the phthalo green, you're just going to get something that color. It's the quinacridone burnt orange. Come on. That was a nice noise. That neutralizes it. There we go. Because the quinacridone magenta, phthalo blue, and phthalo green blue are all on the blue-green side of the color wheel, and then the quinacridone burnt orange is on the opposite, which is where we get this beautiful color. And if you're not sure what color it is, just add some white, and there's our neutral. All right, so I'm going to apply one layer of this paint on here. And I'm thinking, let's see if I can. Yeah, oh, this is nice. I was going to use a bristle brush for this, but these are the only two I have. I Didn't want to ruin them. Tweezers. Oh, I don't know where my tweezers are. Actually, I know where my tweezers are. They're over on my photography station. If they're not there, they're in my jewelry station. And if they're not there, well, no, the animals wouldn't take that. So this piece is going to be very minimalist in colors that you'll be able to see. But will have nice impact. Sometimes, like, you know, I'll get some emails and people saying, they want to be creative, but for some reason or another, it's usually an illness or taking care of a loved one, is that they don't have the energy or the strength to be creative, but they want to be. And then they go into a guilt thing, and about wanting to be creative, then they feel guilty about, they think they're being selfish. Nah, you're not being selfish. You have every right to take care of yourself as well. So those are done. I'm going to put those aside to dry. Where? I don't know. So we're going to go right there. Okie dokie. Well, put that on there now. I was thinking about edging this. Traditionally, I want to go to transparent red iron oxide, but no, oh my goodness. I'm going to stay strong on that. This is going to be minimalist. Minimalist. All right. So I'm going to apply matte medium and use whatever your favorite method of gluing, whether you use decoupage medium, whatever way is your favorite. If you want to use double-sided tape, go ahead. And I'm putting a layer on both sides. Of course, let your piece dry first. And I don't care if it's crinkly. Well, I do care if I drop it like that. Now the matte medium, once you get it on there, you have just a couple of seconds to slide it around. That's why I put it on both sides so I can reposition it. And I should actually get my plastic tool for this, not use my hands. And I could take then some matte medium on the side. I could have painted the sides as well if you want to just hang it up the way it is. I'm going to be putting this in a frame. I haven't asked Joe yet to make it for me though. So just create that seal. Oh, you know what would be nice, but I'm going to stay on course. The top decor top pouring medium on this right over. It would be beautiful. Oh, that would be really nice. I'm going to take some matte medium right over the gesso. Problem with that, the piece that I'm going to be doing with the black ice, the glamour dust, is going to lose the effect. But, oh, I bet you that finish would be gorgeous. Okay, well that just leaves for another project to do. The matte medium is just to get that extra seal on here. Get off of my piece. There we go. I have to slow down. Let's get you over there. And let's get working on the text. So the text, you really can do anything you want. This piece is more of a simplest, not simplest, it's a minimalistic piece, simple, impactful. So especially if you want to create something you don't have time, You just take any background, just slap on any type of text, and just, you know, find something, a quote that you like. Where's my other paper? So if I wanted to do this, so I did that. If I wanted to do a third one, so all I got to do, pull the paper towards me so I get that torn edge. I only need to do corners like this, then put the other piece on here, line it up, and tear. Oh, and if you're working with white paper, make sure your hands are clean. Mine are dirty and I got a little bit of a stain on that. There we go. That's good. There we go, like that. All right, put you guys over there. Get the matte medium back. And I'll just use the stuff from the cover. Nice and thick, which will also create it raised. You can use pop dots if you want. Those things that create a raised effect. Turn that the other way and turn this one this way. There we go. And I'm pushing it because I want it to be curved like that to create some extra texture. That. Let's put that aside to dry over there. And you guys are dry now. But let's get a fresh paper towel. Oh, not good for the wrists. That's really pretty. Okay, I'm going to get a clean brush. Oh, nice. Oh, it looks just like embossing powder. This looks like just like embossing powder, which is probably, this is probably a lot cheaper as well. And you don't need to use heat. You saw the studio. That's why I'm not filming face, just table. My studio is so disgusting. Yeah, painting this black first with the chromatic black definitely made a difference. Look at that. And that's with the embossing powder. That is beautiful. So some parts, so this glamour dust looks like it's partially, a little bit transparent on some parts, depending on how the light hits it. I love that. Oh, love that. Good choice, G. Okay, guess what time it is? Oh, it's that time that we absolutely look forward to every time we create art with wet media. The drying time. We all love the drying time, right? This is a time that's best used to clean up. All right, drying time. Back in a few minutes. I might not be able to get it Has beautifully rounded. Got that. Just want to build just a little extra. There we go. How is that? That is gorgeous. Okay. Deeka 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 dee. Matte medium. This is going to be messy. It's going to be messy. Dry fit. Oh, so I washed my brushes, but I didn't bring them back. Okay, something fresh. Okay, another layer of matte medium. And the reason why I chose matte medium was because it was matte, because this was shiny and I wanted the contrast. But if you wanted to make this matte, you could use a gloss gel on this if you wanted. Whoopsie, I knew that was going to happen. Darn. Sorry, just going to get the matte medium off the front part. I wasn't paying attention. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. I think that was like that, right? Okay, this I can put here. The heavy gel medium would have been good for that too. Want it just slightly off center. And when this is dry, I'm going to edge some wax metallic on the side. Okay, I need something. Here we go. Okay, we'll wait for a few minutes for this to dry, and then I will work the edges. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of wax metallic and edge the sides just to tie in a bit of the dark. And then when when Joe makes me the frame, I may just need to bring a bit of that black inside to create like a vignette look. Okay, so having the paper edges torn like this is being a little bit more challenging than I expected. Getting caught in the kitchen wipe, so next time I'll just use a sponge. And then once you've got all that in there, just take a clean area, clean dry, and buff it, which also diffuses it and increases the shine. There we are. I was created to create. Now with these pieces here, I can lift these up a little bit. I could have edged these black, but I wanted to keep it relatively simple. Let me get a brush. So again, I want to thank Cheryl for gifting me the paper and a bunch of, whole bunch of other stuff. And Allison for gifting me a whole bunch of stuff as well. These ones here. So much appreciated. It really challenges me when you guys send me stuff that's out of my norm. Keeps me on my toes. There we go. So I hope that you enjoyed this. So I would love to see what you create based on this interpretation. And until I see you in the next lesson, stay inspired.